We are all set for the 2019 World Junior Championship semi-final matchups. In today's video, we're going to take a quick preview of the videos, and I'll give you my predictions. We'll discuss all that coming up next. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. We review and discuss all 31 NHL teams as well as international tournaments. So if you're a huge hockey fan, consider subscribing and clicking the bell so you don't miss anything. So as I mentioned off the top, we're all set to go here for the World Junior Championship semi-final matchups. And both semi-final matchups will go here later today, with the finals going tomorrow for the gold medal. So let's take a look at the two matchups we have on the schedule for the semi-final matchups. Now if you didn't watch our last video on the World Juniors, we kind of recapped everything that went down in the quarterfinals. Of course, we saw a couple of upsets with some stronger teams like Team Canada and Team Sweden going down to defeat. So today's matchups in the semifinals features Team Switzerland battling Team Finland, with both teams coming up with huge victories in the quarterfinals and upsetting their opponents to move on to this far in the tournament. That should be a very fun and entertaining matchup. Of course, the other matchup will put two powerhouses together as Team USA battles Team Russia. Now, taking a quick look here at the first matchup, which is the Finns versus the Swiss, I do expect this game to be very closely contested, and it wouldn't even be shocking if it went into overtime like we saw with Team Canada versus Team Finland. Now, I do think, though, in the end, a Team Finland has a little bit more experience here and very well likely comes out victorious. But if you take a look at the Swiss, they've had an excellent tournament. I mean, for example, Philipp Kurashev has been one of their top players, not only in the team, but in the whole tournament. It's kind of a little bit of a coming out party for him. He's been absolutely tremendous. Of course, against Team Sweden, you saw their goaltender Hollenstein come up huge with a 32-save shutout, so I expect him to be in the net again here for this game against the Finland. Taking a quick look at the Finnish team, I mean, you got a great goaltender, Luukkonen. He's been absolutely lights out in this tournament, played fantastic against Team Canada. Was also a big part of the reason why the Team Finland was able to keep them to just one goal and move on here to the semifinals. But they got some terrific forwards and defensemen. Jokiharju on the back end has been tremendous for them in this tournament. Up front for Team Finland, of course, you get Eeli Tolvanen, who's probably the biggest well-known name on this roster. Been absolutely quiet for this team up until the Canada game, but was having a tremendous game and was absolutely shut down by Michael DiPietro until late in the game when he was able to help the team get things tied up. And of course, they went on to win. But I thought Tolvanen had by far his best game of the tournament, and it looks as though he's just kind of heating up here when it matters most. Of course, besides Tolvanen, you got Heppo Niemi, you've got Talviti, and of course, you got 2019 top draft pick Kaapo Kakko, who's expected to go probably number 2 overall. But this is certainly an excellent opportunity and tournament for him to really put his foot forward here and show that he can rival Jack Hughes for being the top selection in the 2019 NHL draft. Now, of course, Hughes and Kakko were very different types of players, but depending on who ends up with that top pick, you never know. Maybe Kakko might actually, be able to get up into that top spot. But so far, the general consensus amongst all the so-called experts out there have Hughes going 1 and Kakko 2. But there's still lots of hockey left this season to see if it stays that way before we get to the draft time in June. But overall, I think the Finns are just a little bit too strong here for the Swiss. But then again, we saw both these teams create upsets in the previous round. But I am going to pick Team Finland to defeat Team Switzerland and go on to play for the gold medal game. Now, taking a look at the second matchup of the day, you've got Team Russia battling Team USA. Now, this is another game that I expect to be incredibly close and very tightly contested. And when you get this far into the tournament, all teams that are left in it certainly deserve to be there and certainly are very competitive and capable of winning. So really, there's not a lot of upsets at this point in the tournament. Regardless of who wins between the Finns and the Swiss, I don't think we can really call that an upset. And the same goes for this matchup here with Team USA and Team Russia. We've seen some great battles with these teams in the past. I mean, with Team USA, you've had some great goaltending from Caden Primo. Up front, of course, Jack Hughes has missed a big part of this tournament, but was back for the last game, was looking pretty solid. Of course, his brother Quinn Hughes has been leading the blue line, logging a lot of minutes and playing really solid hockey for Team USA. So, of course, when you get the Hughes brothers on the ice, not only are they fun to watch, but they produce a lot. You've had other guys like Josh Norris and Ryan Poehling really stepping up in the absence of Jack Hughes in those other games, especially, and really playing big-time roles. They're both pretty solid two-way center icemen and have been really, really good for Team USA. I mean, Jason Robertson's been another guy putting up lots of assists. Like I said in the previews, a pretty solid playmaking winger, can really get things done. Team USA's had some other great performances as well, but really when you look at all those core players, there's certainly lots to like and lots to think that possibly they can take down Team Russia and head on to the gold medal game. But if you take a look at the Russian team, they've really kind of started quietly, but they've yet to lose. But really, like I said, early in the tournament, they just seem to be not really overly interested, not really engaged, I guess you could say, against some of the weaker opponents. But as things kind of ramped up, they were certainly ready for Team Canada in the final game of the preliminary round. They were able to win that game. And then, of course, they won their quarterfinal matchup here as well against the Slovaks, and now they're ready for Team USA. But you've got a lot of firepower on that back end. Both Russian goalies have been playing pretty solid, so regardless of who they put in the net, they're certainly going to have, you know, a strong performance there. On the back end, I've been especially impressed with Alex Alexiev. I thought he was, you know, certainly dropped a lot in his 2018 draft stock. Didn't have the greatest year, but it wasn't because of his performance. He had missed a lot of time to some, you know, off-ice issues, but really Alexiev was really developing into being quite a solid defenseman. You know, so I do think as time goes on here, he could look like a draft steal where he dropped, I can't remember exactly where he went, but I know he was into the 30-something here, late first round, early second round in 2018 draft. So I think over time, though, that pick's going to prove to be very valuable longer term. Of course, up front, you got guys like Klim Kostin and Denisenko and Kravtsov, and then you got youngster Vasily Podkolzin, who's looked pretty solid in this tournament. Hasn't really looked out of place as well. You know, of course, Podkolzin's another guy expected to go fairly high in the 2019 NHL draft. Not quite as much fanfare behind him as Kaapo Kakko. However, he is a rising star in this draft. He's kind of riven up the draft ranks quite substantially here since the season got underway in the fall. You know, he's kind of, most people now is into the top 10, and very well could be a player like Kravtsov did last year, kind of quietly crept up and just kept impressing a lot of teams throughout the season, and will certainly be ranked high on many teams' draft boards as we get to the draft in June. So overall, I think the Russians are incredibly strong. They looked really good against Team Canada, looked really good in the quarterfinal matchup. So I do think that the Russians are going to be my prediction here to take down Team USA and go on to play for gold. Now, of course, I'd love to see a US versus Finland matchup just to have Jack Hughes versus Kaapo Kakko, the top two picks for the 2019 draft, battling for a gold medal. I think that would be a lot of fun, be incredibly entertaining. It'd be nice just to see those two guys go head to head in a, you know, such a significant game. But at the same time here, having the Russians against the Finns, I think would also be very entertaining, you know, to see Podkolzin kind of put his foot forward, you know, maybe rise his draft stock a little bit more, along with some of those other more experienced Russian players like Kostin, Kravtsov, Denisenko, etc. I think would be a very entertaining matchup. You know, but I said earlier, like in my quarterfinal recap, I felt like the Russians were the team to beat. Like I said, at this point, it could be a coin flip. I think any team left in this tournament is capable of winning. They've all proven they have some great players and can really come through when it matters most here. So I'm going to predict Russia and Finland as the two winners in the semifinals. But at the same time, I'd love to see U.S. versus Finland too. You know, not to discount the Swiss. I mean, Kurashev's been a great story too. So no matter what happens here, we're going to be left with some really entertaining storylines as well as some great hockey to watch for the gold medal and bronze medal games. But my predictions are going to be Team Finland and Team Russia being victorious here for today. So, of course, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on your predictions on who's going to win these two semifinal matchups and end up meeting for the gold medal game here tomorrow as the World Junior Championships for 2019 wrap up yet another fantastic tournament. If you're new to the channel here, I hope you consider subscribing. We cover all 31 NHL teams, and there is plenty of content here for all hockey fans to enjoy. So if you're new, hit that subscribe button, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up before you go. I'd appreciate it if you did. As always, thank you very much for watching, everybody. We will catch you next time.